Hello and welcome to Story X Story, the podcast by Maya Mada that dives deep into stories across pop culture, plus gives you advice on creating your own. It's episode 226, and I am your co-host Nigel.
I am Tazziii, content creator and co-host.
And for our behind the story episodes, we like to talk to creative professionals and practitioners across industries to unpack their journey. And today we're going to hear the story behind two comic creators, Fergo and Judy Powell. Welcome to you both. First time on the show as well. How are you both doing?
Thanks, Nigel.
It's great to be here.
Thanks, Sassy.
Yeah, good to hear you. And good to also have another. This is like a WIP Comics takeover. So people might remember last year we did an interview after a successful Kickstarter. And I guess it's a deja vu thing situation happening because we've got another successful Kickstarter to talk about. And we've got two artists that are involved in that. So we're going to get into that whole process, that whole campaign and the work that's to come. And listeners can subscribe to Story X Story wherever you get your podcast from. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube as well. You can also send us your feedback and questions in several ways. You can chat with us in our Studio 77 Discord. You can email us at studio77@mayamada.com, or you can throw your thoughts at us on social media. We are at Mayamada on Twitter, at Mayamada TV on Instagram and TikTok, and at mayamada.com on Blue Sky, or at Life of a W Gamer on Instagram and TikTok, and at Tazziii on everything else. You can also check out mayamada.com to see the latest manga. We got a new manga out and discover just the whole Mayamada brand as well. So check that out too. Before we learn more about our guests, let's update you with the latest from the Mayamada universe. I mentioned our new manga. You can get that online, but you can also get it at some upcoming in-person events. We're making some appearances over the year. So in October, on the 18th and 19th, we will be in London. Well, I'm always in London, but the event's in London. So it's an event called the Festival of the Girl. We were there for the first time last year. We're coming back this year. It's all designed for young girls aged 7 to 11 to have fun, try something new, and just generally be exposed to different experiences, different industries, different types of people within them. And yeah, we are bringing the Mayamada brand. So we're bringing our manga to the event. So you'll be able to get it there. We're also bringing some interactive activities based on the specific themes of Origins Against All Odds. So we've been doing some work with the organizers. They got this activity book. We've put some, I guess, kind of exclusive, because we did a couple extra pages and an activity in their activity book that goes out to like thousands of young people. And then we're going to be doing something linked to that at the actual event. So that should be fun. If you are in that age demographic, then come on down. If not, we'll tell you about it afterwards. And a bit later in the year, we're also going to be at Thought Bubble. So that's November 15th and 16th. These are both weekends, by the way, Saturday and Sunday. So I will be returning to the Harrogate Convention Centre for those 2 days, which is essentially a celebration of independent comics. So I'll be packing a suitcase and taking our manga there. I'll also be doing a comics workshop. So I've been doing that for, I think I've done it at least 2 times I can remember off the top of my head. But yeah, doing a comic workshop for young creatives at the event. Can't remember which day, but once I do, I'll let people know, or just follow our socials. So yeah, we usually get a bunch of people like 10 and up. Some parents as well get involved. And yes, that should be fun as well. And as for the manga itself, hopefully you already know because we did our own Kickstarter. And this is the manga that features Tazziii for a reflective, hope-filled story about pursuing your creative career goals in the face of resistance from doubters and the world around you. So like I said, that is available online as well as the events that are coming up. So check that out. Speaking of events, you can also get involved in the Do I Look Like a Gamer representation campaign. So this is our campaign promoting inclusion and diversity in the video games industry. So each year we do a snapshot of 40 players and makers to inspire future generations of diverse talent by showing them some diversity that already exists. Even though there's not enough of it, but we do what we can. And then we do some events. So We've got some event announcements to come. The next event to come is one that we'll be at, which is the London Comic Con. So we'll be there at the last weekend of October, so October 24th to the 26th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we've got a bunch of stuff planned. So we've got a booth, and basically you can come and hang out at our booth. So we'll have games, tabletop games, video games, some indie developers showcasing their games, both tabletop and video. And then we'll also be on stage. So I think we'll either be on stage or in some room on each day. So on Friday, the 24th, we've got a panel, Anime 101, why it's different, talking about what anime is, why it's having such a moment, and why, I don't know, it's always had a moment and why it's so cool. So we're talking about that. We've got a panel on the career stage on a Saturday, that's the 25th. So we're talking about indie development, risk versus reward. We'll have a lineup of people who have made their own games talking about that journey, the ups, the downs, and we'll have a tabletop game design workshop on the Sunday, so that's the 26th. Join, we'll go through the process of making tabletop games. It was fun when we did it last year, had a really good turnout, really enthusiastic crowd. So looking forward to that. And we're going to be trying something new in our booth, video game triathlon. I feel we might have to like trademark this or something because I feel it hasn't been done before. Well, we did it at our last event at Samsung, but other than that, I don't think it's been done. So essentially, we have it's a bit of a twist on the typical esports sort of competition. I think it's all about fun, working together, friends, family across 3 different games. You don't have to be great, just have to be really enthusiastic. I think enthusiasm doesn't get you any points in this, but it just makes the experience better. I think that's a life lesson in there somewhere. But we also have prizes as well. So yeah, going to be playing different games, challenges on each game. Enter as a team and see how far you can get. We'll have more announcements on that and our activities at Comic-Con. Follow us on socials. We're also online as well. Studio 77, which is our digital platform, which sees us hosting different shows with creative professionals, and we play games as well. So each month we have shows that go over interviews, discussions, games, got a Studio 77 report, casual conversations with comic creators, and games night as well, which usually takes place at the end of a month for September. We are still finding that where that's going to land, but yeah, follow us on Twitch and YouTube and you'll get that notification. And if you are a young aspiring creative professional or you know one, then check out the Mayamada Showrunners Work Experience program. So this is our program where we create opportunities for young people aged 16 and up to work with our team across comic production, events, and content creation. So lots of opportunities there. And even in what is now just a handful of months left of this year, there are still a lot of opportunities to take part in the events and some of the other things we've got going behind the scenes. So you can email us showrunners@mayamada.com to find out more. And now you're all caught up. That's the Mayamada universe. That's where we are at the moment. So with all that being said, now let's go behind the story with today's guests. We're going to be talking with Fergo and Judy. So Fergo is a comic artist and creator behind Fergo Comics, where she explores the relatable experiences of introverts through humor and heart. I definitely feel that. Judy is a comic creator and painter from Ireland and winner of the LDC Comics Rosalind Penfold Prize in 2021, with the work due to come out this year. We're in 2025, just in case you're listening to this in the future. And yeah, both of them are 2 of the 60 plus artists contributing to the upcoming WIP Comics anthology. So listeners of the podcast will know what's about to come because creativity is very important to us. We always like to know what our guest perspective is. And we've got 2 guests here. So for Fergo, for Judy, what does creativity mean to you? Fergo, do you want to go first?
So I think for me, creativity is when you get to use your unique perspective to transform something and give it its own life. You can be working on something that already exists. You could be starting fresh. You might even be trying to convey a specific message or just following what feels meaningful to you. But I think it starts with bringing your own way of seeing whatever you're doing and make something feel alive, first for yourself and then for others, if you choose to share it, of course.
Oh, nice. And how about yourself, Judy?
Well, I was one of 4 children, and my siblings were highly articulate, and I'm dyslexic, so completely sort of silent in my family. And creativity for me is having a voice. So drawing and painting was where I could say what I wanted to say.
Right. Wow. Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely appreciate that. And it's always nice to hear different people's perspectives on it. I feel like it'll be a mad surprise if someone gave the exact same answer for this
It would
question.
be.
So yeah, it's always nice to hear the perspectives. So yeah, I mean, like I said at the top, this is all in celebration of another successful Kickstarter by WIP Comics. So WIP is work in progress. And I would say since at the time of recording, we have, well, I say we, I didn't do anything. You have just finished the Kickstarter just a few days ago. How do you feel off the back of a successful Kickstarter? What's the mood, and how's yourselves and how's the team feeling?
I think it's really exciting, and I feel for all the people. Oh, I feel for Mike Armstrong, who's got all the work to do.
Yeah, like doubling what Judy said, it's very exciting. Everyone is thrilled. And it's also amazing when you see the pledges going up. Like, I remember 5 days before, we were wondering if we were even going to meet the target.
Mm.
And now we are 20% over the goal. So yeah, it feels amazing. And everyone's pretty excited to get to hold that book and see everyone's amazing work.
Yeah, and is this the first WIP's anthology that you've both been involved with, or have you done others?
For me, it's my first one. I actually joined WIP Comics this year, and I was lucky enough to join before the sign up for the anthology. And once I found out that was something we were doing, I was, oh my God, that's so cool. So yeah, I managed to jump in and be one of the lucky 60 plus creators to join.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's my second year.
And were you in the previous year or earlier year than that?
No. So I joined WIT in January last year. I heard about it through Andy Oliver,
Oh, yes, yeah.
and I can't speak highly enough about WIT.
I've been like following their journey because met some of the team many years ago, actually before the pandemic. Oh wow, that's a long time. And just seeing how like people have joined, what they've done with the anthologies and the consistency and the support that they give. It's really cool to see. And yeah, no, it's good to hear. I think when I emailed Mike saying like another like successful Kickstarters are hard. Like people don't realize that they're really hard. So and you guys have got another successful one. So we'll jump into or we'll come back to the Kickstarter and the book. But I'm also interested to hear like how you both got into comics and specifically with WIP. I know you just touched on it just now, but can you tell us about early life, early career? Like, where did you grow up? And interested to know what first sparked your interest in comics, like for fun, and then I presume professionally now. And then Judy, if you want to get started.
My background's fine art. Then in my 20s, I started making comics. But I got married, I had children, I became a single mother, and I needed to put food on the table. So I had a proper job. Many years I had a proper job. And then when I was 50, I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. So I went through all the treatment, and at my 5-year checkup, the consultant said, you're going to be here for a bit. And I realised I needed to spend the rest of my life doing what I want to do. And I walked away from my job, and that's what I've been doing. And
Wow.
I have never felt such a sense of purpose and satisfaction.
That's
It's
beautiful.
one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, no, I was going to say like congratulations. I don't know what you say to to that exactly. And that's fantastic to hear.
It was a blessing. It was such a
Yeah.
blessing. But that's as they say around here, that's my story.
That's just that's just story. And, how about yourself, Fergo?
Well, for me, as a kid, I was inclined to more artistic sort of things like drawing, like making figures with plasticine. I think that's what you would call it. Playing with my toys, making up all of these crazy stories when the humans were away from the animals. The animals would plot all of these great adventures. So that was me as a kid. And as I was growing up, I wanted to pursue art, but it's like, it's that thing that parents tend to tell their kids, like, you're going to starve as an artist. And
Yep. Yep.
and yeah, and then, went to uni. I work during the day. I like to say that I have two jobs. Like at night, I'm an artist. I'm a digital artist, and during the day, I'm a data specialist. That's normally how I would introduce it. And now that as an adult, I have adult money, I have time, I get
Adult money.
to exactly. I get to, to just to give the kid inside of me what she wanted to do and get to learn a bit more. And yeah, it's still a journey. So yeah, I'm trying to follow through these steps pretty much of making this my full-time thing when the time is right.
Then for both of you, in terms of when it comes to education, because we speak to people and some people like studied specifically, some have just like self-taught. What was your experience through education? Did you train to do what you are doing or want to do more of, or is it just like you learned as you went?
So for me, it's been a bit of learning as I'm going. So of course there was a lot of imposter syndrome, especially not having a background in art. But last year, I think is when I properly say, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go to classes. Let's go to live drawing sessions. Let's find communities to join. Let's publish a book. So, so yeah, it's as I'm going, and even professional artists, they always can learn something new. So yeah, it's finding multiple ways of keeping myself motivated and learning a bit more.
Yeah, and for you, Judy, then, because you said like fine art, you studied that. What was the intention there? Because I think you mentioned fine art, and then you got a proper job, which I guess
Yeah.
wasn't in fine art. So, what was the thinking behind studying fine art and that path?
Well, drawing is the thing that I've always loved. But then when I started doing comics, and then more recently with the work that I'm doing, it's the storytelling, it's the layers of storytelling and drawing together that, though I find very challenging, I think is irresistible. And actually, the drawing is the least important part of it. I think I think that good writing can rescue poor drawing, but good drawing can't rescue poor writing. So that it's the writing has been the bit that I've struggled with. But I think I quite like difficult things. I like being challenged.
Yeah, that's. I feel I appreciate the mention of good writing as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I
as,
felt
as
that
as a
one.
writer, yeah. As a writer, I'm going to clip that and use that somewhere. And so now, so where you are both, how do you explain what you do to family members? Do they understand what you do? Do you need to like translate? Do they get it?
Well, I'm going to just jump in quickly and say, no, no, they don't. I don't. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that.
Um, for me, like my focus on comics is more around introversion and mainly things that are inside my head. I haven't been the best communicator throughout my life, so it's something I'm continuously working towards too. But I always felt I could convey what I feel and what I envision better if I get to write about it or if I get to draw it. So yeah, that's how I got into comics. And like funny enough, you know, I got to bond with a lot of people through it because we just managed to understand each other a bit better. And I'm the type of person that you can give me, like a cartoonish type comic book, and I will laugh very loud in a corner while I go through it. 'Cause, I mean, they spark so much joy. And yeah, so once I started sharing that interest with my friends and family, we could bond over a certain topic, either
Okay.
them relating to it or either them understanding me a bit better.
Right.
That's such a gift, actually, to be
Yeah.
able to just explain yourself to people through your art.
I'm trying.
Getting people to see and understand and empathize. That's the word I'm looking for. Empathize with a different perspective through art. It's definitely a powerful thing. And like as you both are on this journey and thinking like relatively when you both started and the early stages of it, what was the best advice, if any, that someone else gave to you when you were starting on your journey? And key follow up, did you follow the advice? because I didn't when I got some good advice. But
What was the good advice you got?
So I early on I was told by a mentor that it didn't work out, but it was supposed to be a mentor. But he said network. I can't remember the exact word. I couldn't say incessantly. I don't think that was the word, but he said network, like focus on networking, and I didn't fully appreciate it then. I don't think I did anything with it intentionally, but now I understand, fully understand what he meant, and now I do try and follow that more.
Mm.
Yeah, I think like in the end, because we are social creatures, if you want to if you want your art to feel more alive, then just providing, your input into it, it needs to be shared and seen. Because ultimately, the sharing is what's going to feed you as a creator to create more art. Because in a way or another, it's either you being seen or your view being seen or other people that are consuming your art feeling understood. So yeah, I don't know if that's exactly what your mentor meant, but I think that's how I would interpret it if you're focused on a creative sort of point.
We did not spend enough time for me to know if that's what he meant. Oh no, I only got the little words that he said, but yeah, no, it's solid, like fantastic advice. I just didn't realize it. But I mean, like for you both, what would you say is the best advice that you both got?
For me, it was one that I picked up from YouTube. I believe it was from Frank James. He's pretty much an influencer or content creator around personality types, which is a topic I really enjoy. And he said something on the lines of whatever you envision, how perfect it looks in your head, and how upset you are that it's not looking like that. So you end up not doing it or giving up because it's not looking how you envision it. It really doesn't matter because people cannot see what you see inside your head. They see what you actually put out there. So even if the version you did is just good enough, for them it might look amazing because they don't have the comparison you have, and you can still, iterate on it and grow on it and make other versions. And yeah, that helped a lot in the perfectionism side of things because as artists you always want or like most of the time you might want to make the perfect anatomy, the perfect color selection, the proportions, perspective, the storytelling, etc., and it might not be quite there, but it's almost there, and that almost is good enough. So yeah, I think that was a good one for me that I try to remember every now and then.
What about you, Judy?
I think when I started, I tried to overcomplicate, and the best advice is keep it simple. Keep your story
Yes.
simple, start simple.
Yeah, I need to. I say yeah, but I'm a hypocrite. But yeah,
Yeah, I struggle with
Guilty.
it. Yes,
yeah.
I want to put everything in there, but keep it simple.
Yeah, we're working on something, project for someone else now, and I'm reminding myself of that, and I'm gonna have to remind them of that as well. So, interesting discussion. So cool. And so, you mentioned like pretty recently, like you both being involved in WIP Comics. So for those that don't know, check out the interview we did with Mike Armstrong last year. But as we're here now, from what I understand and from seeing you all work, it's about so WIP stands for work in progress, so it's about the process and sharing that work early and with others as well, so not just for yourself. How would you say in the time you've been, like, being part of that community has influenced your work and maybe how you perceive it?
I'm probably, an age-wise, one of, if not the oldest member of WIP. So I'm the old person. And I value the inclusiveness of the group, the diversity, and how generous the members with so much expertise, how generous they are with sharing it and supporting. It is remarkable. And their bi-monthly meetups online are just amazing. They're fantastic. They cover so many different subjects. I think last one was Greg talking about augmented reality.
Okay.
And Mike did one on the history of comics, and we've had a professional letterer. Just so much information and knowledge and support given there.
Yeah. How about yourself, Fergo?
I feel very grateful for having found it. I found about it through a friend actually, and she said, "We should join this." And I said, "Oh yeah, let's do it." Because I already had my comic, but it was a bit of a solo journey, not so fun, very inconsistent. And I felt since I joined WIP Comics, to get to see all of these people's progress, all of these people sharing their struggles, sharing their knowledge. So it gives me a bit of a sense of belonging, and I feel supported, and I feel that, oh, I'm feeling this certain way about this creative process. Let me share this thought, and you get to connect with other humans that are doing something very similar to what you're doing, and you don't get to feel so lonely anymore on it. And yeah, and that's amazing. And the fact that it's like a free community, and everyone's willing to share knowledge to support each other, it makes it 100 times more wholesome. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be part of it.
What would you say is the hardest part of sharing your work, either within WIP or just in general? Because I know that can be something that people don't always want to do. And as a quick aside, because we do workshops with young people, and just got a memory of a recent one where I asked a young person to, Tazziii was there because Tazziii managed to get something out of him. I didn't get anything, but I asked him like if he wants to share his work, and he just like looked me dead in the eye and said nope. said he's good. I was like, I could help you maybe. He's like, nah, I'm good. Okay, so I know that sometimes people don't always want to share. Like, have you found it difficult in your journey?
I always find it difficult. I find it, and if I do share my work, I can't. I probably can't then work on it for a couple of days. But I've learned to only share it with people who understand the process or are in that world. So WIP's great for that, but I've learned not to share it with people who have no knowledge of it, of comic making.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I think you need to understand your audience first of all, and by that is not your online audience only, but I wouldn't go on the street and just show my turn on the stranger. That's what I mean.
Like, hey, you, look at this.
Look at this.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny enough, I have a lot of imposter syndrome when it comes to my art, but I'm okay with sharing it, and I think it goes back to the advice from Frank that in the end no one knows how I'm envisioning it by me, and life is short, and you never know when it's going to be your last day, and I want to to have a life that I God forbid something happens to me tomorrow, I can look back and say, no, I did everything I could. So that's what I try to do, and I just share it. And also, then there's the other part where I'm not a big creator. I haven't gone viral or anything like that. So barely a few people are seeing my stuff anyway. So yeah, I just put it out there, and then it works in two ways for me. One, once I get bigger and I grow as an artist, I get to be proud of my progress. And two, new art babies, once they start the journey, they can see, oh, this person also started from the messy and cringe, and hopefully feel inspired, right? Because when you get to see online creators that you admire, not many of them have, the historic journey. They already had their process and worked very hard on the process and the art before they got to share it with us. So yeah, I think it's also good to share a bit of that, of the uncertainty part of your work. So funny enough, in that regard, I'm okay. I just go, hey, it's good, it's not good. Who cares? I'll share it.
Put it out. No, that's a good point of showing that the steps, like how you got there and what you did. Yeah, because there's a lot of people who feel, you look at stuff on social media and it's like it's perfect, and it's like you're not there. I had a message from someone who's I think it's like nephew, who's trying to start a gaming YouTube channel, and said they're worried about like the equipment and stuff. Like if you saw the microphone and the stuff that we use when we started this podcast, Like, don't even worry about it. So yeah, no, I get that, and I think for the feedback perspective of it as well, it's a tough one. Again, like social media, you can worry about what someone's gonna say, but it's a balance, right? Because like you say, Judy, it's like the right people. And I remember hearing something like, I'm gonna paraphrase. I can't remember who. I can't remember who I got this from, but it was something along the lines of like, don't worry about if you wouldn't take advice from the person, don't worry about the criticism.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one.
So yeah, but it's a tough one knowing the when and who and how to share. So I want to go back to, because Judy, you mentioned the Rosalind Penfold Prize, and from what I saw, this is from LD Comics, and it's a prize that recognizes women who come late to the table in terms of like comics and create something there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's absolutely, yeah, senior citizen of the comic making world.
Yeah. um, and you said
I
like
hope
earlier,
not geriatric yet.
yeah, not okay. We'll cap it at senior citizen then. But you said something like really profound. I feel like, with your journey and recovery and walking away from a past life. In a way, you sort of did the opposite thing, having the quote unquote proper job and leaving that to do comics, which is what parents, Fergo, you just said, say to not do. But obviously, from your experience, it sounded like it was a no-brainer. And I feel from the pandemic, many people had a similar thing of, oh, when I look at where I am and what I'm doing, I do not want to do this. And in that time where, whenever we're faced with it was like a life or death thing, we make those decisions, they suddenly become easier. It's like, how difficult was it? A difficult decision to jump off? And then I want to open up to Fergal as well, like in terms of the meaning of what we all do.
I make it sound simple, but I didn't just walk out of the job and then walk into making comics. There's been other things that have happened along the way. I would say it was messy, and I was really, really fortunate to meet along the way someone who has helped and supported me unbelievably. I wouldn't be able to do it without him. But it is really important to me that I tell my story in the time I've got left. And the wonderful thing about it is that even when I believe I'm rubbish at what I'm doing, I do keep going because I haven't got time not to. And
that's beautiful.
It takes away a lot of I've got to be careful to say, a lot of that, rubbish around it of I'm not good enough. And I believe I'm not good enough, but I haven't got the time not to do the work. And I love doing it. I love doing it. And I know why I'm doing it. And that is really important.
Yeah. And I mean, for you, because I feel we're all in a similar, maybe at different stages, but similar thing of realizing that this thing is important, and it's not easy. I feel sometimes it can be presented as, oh, if you don't like what you're doing, do the thing that you like, and it's easy, and it always works out, and it doesn't.
No.
Yeah, and it doesn't.
I've had a lot of luck along the way, but to get to where I am now has been messy and hard and lonely, and I wouldn't change any of it, except perhaps doing comics younger.
Yeah. Yeah, I also feel a thing where when I look back, because people ask me like, "Oh, you left your job ages ago," and it's like, "Oh, do you regret it?" And I only regret not doing it sooner, or not doing it better sooner, or not committing to it more sooner. It's always like a sooner thing, not a regret doing it. But
I think you've done it sooner than I did it. Sorry, but you've done it sooner than I did it.
Oh, fair. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for that perspective. fair point. I can't argue with that. And yeah, for you, Fergal, in terms of like, because you mentioned maybe getting a push to go in sort of like proper job, and you mentioned like by day what you do, what keeps you going in terms of making the comics and making the stories for what is a difficult, the creative journey is a difficult one.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I find difficult is that because I get to do most of my creative work in the evening or over the weekends or over holidays, there's not always the energy to do it. So it will be nice to have a bit more time, or be like Doctor Strange and have superpowers and be able,
Yeah.
that while my while my body's resting, my mind can, like, practice some drawing. That'll be fabulous. Uh,
Well,
but yeah, I guess that's the challenging part for me. Judy, were you going to say something?
I was going to say I'm in awe of the fact that you can do a full-time job and draw. I couldn't have done my job and make comics at the same time. So well done, well done.
I mean, it's been worked on. It hasn't always been like this. But thank you so much. But I think it ties back to that motivation of, I never know when it's going to be my last day. And going a bit into the more personal side, like the motivation behind that one is that I lost my dad when he was quite young.
Mm.
And yeah, and it's something that you don't expect. And he also had dreams and things he wanted to do, but it was never the right time. It's like, oh, you need this amount of money, or you need to have this amount of time in your hands, or you need to have this equipment, like you were saying earlier, Nigel. Like, yeah, I try not. If I think that way, I can. Yeah, I will
Yeah, you
lose
can always put it off.
time. Yeah, so that's the thing that I try to remind myself. I never know when it's going to be my last day. So, and a little
Mm.
goes a long way. Sometimes, I just draw like 5 minutes, but I did something. I drew an
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, it is what it is, and I'm just trying to find ways of going forward, and trying,
Mm.
like, this year, my main goal is I like to frame it as debuting as an artist. And the ultimate thing for that is like publishing my first comic book. I never done that before.
Okay.
Um, Self doing it myself. I'm figuring out life along the way. WIP Comics came into my life, which was like, okay, yes, no excuses. I have support now. Let's do it. So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm just trying to walk towards that path, and down the line make it my full thing. But whenever I had the chance, I put in the work. So
Mm.
future me is proud.
Yeah, and that's how it is. It's like the steps you do now is like you'll thank yourself in the future. You'll be like, I'm glad I took that direction. And I like how you phrase it. So your day job situation remind me. We had shout out to Curly Locks, who took part in our Do I Look Like a Gamer photo shoot this year, and she said, because we profile people, we asked what they do, and she said, I'm an artist and content creator with a day job on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great way of putting it.
And I think that's a good way, because when you're meeting someone new and they ask you what you do, they get intrigued, and then they want to see
Mm.
your art as well. So you're not necessarily putting it down their throat like, oh, I'm also an artist. Look at this. They actually show interest in it. So yeah, it's a good conversation starter as well,
Mm.
because it's a question everyone gets, like, oh, so what do
Yeah.
you do?
What do you do?
Uh,
Yeah.
so so you start by night I'm this, and by day I'm that, and yeah, it tends to be a good one.
Mm. All right. So yeah, let's talk about the anthology and the Kickstarter as well. So each year, off the top of my head, I can't remember how many years. I feel like I'm definitely aware of 3 or 4. I think I remember 4 back.
This
But you've
is
done
the eighth one, I
8th. There you
believe.
go. All right,
I
I'm
believe
behind.
so,
So
yeah.
the 8th anthology from WIP's Comics. So each year there's a new theme, and then they're asking creators to create work that aligns with that theme. So this year the theme is infinity, and I saw on the Kickstarter you had the infinity. I was going to say the infinity logo, but the infinity symbol on the page. And yeah, tell us what that means, what the infinity theme means this year, and see the work is not done, so like no spoilers, but how you've approached it for your contributions.
One of the beauties of this is we don't know what everybody else is. We have glimpses of what other people's contribution and pages will look like, but we don't know exactly, and that's part of the excitement. My one this year, as last year, involves a story about my grandmother, and it's called Ensuring Life Goes On. So it's quite a simple, straightforward story.
Mm.
Fergo, what's yours about?
So mine, I took inspiration out of my everyday life. So can't remember exactly what I was doing, but I was doing something around the house, and I was saying, "Oh, I need to think of an idea for my anthology." And then I went to have a snack, and then I noticed, "Oh, there's a stain in here. Let me tidy this up. Let me clean it." So then I'm cleaning. Then I'm seeing, "Oh, we ran out of like multi-purpose spray. Let me make another one." And so on. And then I remember, oh my God, I was meant to be thinking of my anthology. And yeah, and that was really much my idea. I'm almost sure I'm diagnosed on ADHD. So I use that as pretty much my motivation on doing it. It's a comic about, you have this character that's trying to do yoga, and then while she's doing this pose, she notices that underneath the couch is dirty. So then she goes and gets the vacuum cleaner, tries to clean underneath the couch. I think I said carpet before, the couch, not the carpet. uh, and then while she's doing that, she finds these messy cables. So she's like, okay, let me tidy up these cables, and this drawer is messy. And she finds a photo album. She starts looking into it, and then it comes to her like, oh my God, my yoga. I was doing yoga. And you have like this wide shot, I think that's what I can call it, where you can see her very far away with the photo album, the messy cables that she didn't finish tidying up, the vacuum cleaner that she dropped, and then the yoga mat as the closest thing, which is like how everything started. So yeah, that's pretty much my one.
Oh,
Mm.
I'm like just laughing so much
Yeah.
because I have done that exact sweet sequence, like exact those specific actions as well.
Yes.
And what's even better is that every story has to be told in 8 panels.
Yes.
And is that the 8 years, 8 panels kind of situation?
Yeah.
Good one. I actually didn't think of it that way. Is it?
That's what I was thinking. No, we'll have
Judy, do
to
you know?
ask Mark. Because the whole thing is that they've got to do an 8 panel self-contained story. So I just assumed that was the 8 years, 8 panels. Or was it different like, for previous years?
Oh yes, yes, and it's 8 panels, and the book is 8 by 8, so it's all hitting
It's
all
all
the eights.
eights all the way down. Cool. Okay. And I mean, with that in mind, then, because one of the things that comes up often in discussions of creativity is that almost paradoxically, creativity can thrive in constraints. And 8 panels, self-contained story with the infinity theme sounds like a constraint. I mean, you've both described your stories. When actually making them, was it difficult? What's the challenges with working with those kind of constraints?
I love constraints. I find it so it just makes it much easier for me. So I so that
Takes a
I
lot of like, the mental working right out.
yes, yeah, it takes out lots of decision making. You just get on with it. Yeah, I like constraints.
So for me, I say the constraint was that I never participated in an anthology before,
Mm.
and all of my comics, they were around, my personal comic. So it was definitely something new. And and yeah, I mean, I was happy with the constraints because it gives you a bit of guidelines of what you will like, of what you will have to do to meet the criteria. So yeah, I also found them helpful in this case as opposed to being a challenge. But if we really press on the challenge, I guess the challenge would have been thinking on how to make the drawing so everything connects in 8 panels. And yeah, it was like a creativity exercise, I guess. So you will find a way to make it work.
Yeah, that's the way, right? You find a way, like you make it work, and to the to the brief. I guess it's essentially you got a brief and you find a way to make it work for that. And Fergo, you mentioned, because this is the first anthology. I know the idea for the anthologies for WIP is having a mix of established and experienced and then new people. And then I think you mentioned that this is just specifically the first anthology, like full stop. How do you see them as like a vehicle to the discovery of new comic creators?
I mean, I'm very inspired. Like I feel that I just get more and more inspired with every with comic interaction. We have some in-person events as well, and I'm lucky enough to be in London, so I can attend a few. And so yeah, when I get to see previous year's anthologies, it's funny how you can see it's the same theme, but people took so many different approaches into it and different art styles. So yeah, it just makes me think that yeah, the sky is the limit. You do whatever you feel like doing to portray this message. That is the same topic, but it got interpreted by different people in different ways.
Mm.
So yeah, I find that amazing and very motivating. So yeah, I'm just seeing good things down the line. Probably too optimistic.
We'll all need a bit of optimism. And for both of you, be interested to know about your process, because I presume you both write and draw, so you're each doing both of the parts of it. What is the typical workflow when you're creating comics? Do you enjoy the writing part more than the art, or vice versa? Like, what do you start with? Like, tell us like the brief overview of how you go from idea to now the comic's done and ready for print.
I really struggle with structure.
Mm.
And because drawing's easier for me than the writing, I start with the writing. But then when I move into the drawing, there can be flexibility. But I always have to start with the writing. And my work's very sort of quite old-fashioned looking. It's quite illustrative, and I do use Procreate, but by and large, it's pen and ink and watercolor. So old-fashioned.
And so you start with writing. Is that because you're trying to tackle the structure because you know it's the more difficult thing for you?
Or because I've tried it the other way, and it doesn't work.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I've tried. I tried starting with the drawing, and it's just it. No, I have to
Right.
start with the writing. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the same for you, Fergo, or do you got a different approach?
I'm still trying to come out with a more established approach, but in regards to the ideas, I haven't hit a point where I run out of them. So as a data geek I am, I have a database in Notion with all of the ideas I have. So
Oh yeah.
whenever I have one, I write it down. And sometimes I don't have them a lot, but sometimes I have dreams that I feel like they could be a novel. So this is me like in the middle of the night, like with my phone, like doing a voice recording. So I listen to it in the morning. so, so yeah, I guess with me it starts most of the time. It starts with the idea that I already have written down somewhere, and then whenever I need something, I look them up and then think about, how are we going to draw this? But yeah, the structure is still a bit all over the place. But for now, what I've been doing is having the idea, writing a script. I've been learning a lot on storytelling, been using the Save the Cat beats intensely.
Oh yes.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of that and I get to learn a bit more around it. So my comics had a bit more of flow. Because before, when I started making comics, I mean, if you look the ones I currently have online, they don't have storytelling necessarily. They were more, this is a funny situation. I write it down and then I make a comic about it pretty much exactly as I wrote it down. Whereas now I have the idea, but I try to dig deeper into it to transform it into a story and then make the drawing, starting with the sketch, then
Mm.
the outline, and then coloring it, and yeah, and that's it. That's it for now, but still figuring it out.
Yeah. No, I get that. And I think this is like why I'm, I guess, in a way glad I can't draw, because I can just focus on on the writing and the structure bit, which is the well, I mean, I enjoy all of it, but I feel like that's the bit I can really like get into and just like mapping that out. And yeah, Save the Cat is a good one. There's another, I mean, there's a bunch. I don't know if you've read Story by Robert McKee.
I'm not joking. That's the book I have right behind me
But
right
oh
now.
yeah, that's the one that will sort you out, definitely. And I mean, there's a bunch, but another one that always comes to my mind is Into the Woods by John York. I've got that.
Yep, also
Mm.
behind me.
Got that. Got it. Okay, cool. All right, you're covered. You're covered. I feel like you've got it. Say no more. But yeah, I feel like getting that. I mean, because those helped me because I'm someone that didn't study. I just learned as I went. But just looking at screenwriting, and because that's in terms of like a close comparison to comics in terms of moving pictures and
Mm.
words, and then it's been around for a long time, so stories aren't that different across mediums. Obviously different mediums, you do different things, but yeah, just go to an established one and study it, and then you'll learn something. So no, that sounds really cool. And was there a chat? I don't know what the typical time scale is with the WIP anthology, but was there any challenges in like getting the work done to what I assume is a deadline, because you guys had the Kickstarter and you're now at the pulling all together? Like, did you find that a challenge for either of you?
No, I got mine in within a week, but I'm not
Oh, like,
boasting. I'm not
Applause.
boasting.
yeah.
It's my job had involved deadlines,
Mm,
and as I've said, I don't have time to mess around here.
yeah,
I got to get on with
yeah.
it. No, deadlines are not a problem for me. But I'm going to qualify that by saying I'm not doing a full time job. So it's
Mm.
possible for me to get onto it. I don't know how people who are working full time manage to get anything else done.
For me, as someone that has a full-time job, I did my full draft pretty early. I think it was. So we knew about the topic in February, and the deadline was yesterday to submit it. So I say around March, April, I already had a full sketch, and I got feedback on it and everything, but I only finalized it like 3 weeks ago. And I think it's that I was trying to see if I could think of something better. I was not intentionally thinking of something better, but it was seen. Perhaps I learned, a new technique, or my drawing improves, and I can make another sketch and make it again. But yeah, I don't like to do things very last minute, but I'm also not like a very early submitter either.
No, it's good. All right, so you got like very prepared. I think it's good. I think one of the things with like getting structured, or I found it because I remember when I was at university as well, I always made sure to at least get the structure of things. Like if I had an assignment or something, get the structure of
Yeah.
things early, so I know what I'm doing. So if things do go late, you're at least working to that a period in time when you were thinking more clearly, and then you can follow that. So that's always helped me. But yeah, no, it's all right. Sounds like neither of you had a problem with that. And I I wonder, like, how do you, or do you have to balance? Is there a challenge in balancing that introvert perspective? And I'm wondering, is there a challenge in making work that represents that perspective and I guess your experience, but then also making it relatable to a wider audience?
I don't think so. So I'm quite an empath, so I feel I can understand different points of view and understand where some people are coming from, and ultimately I just want to keep harmony all around. So yeah, and also I enjoy reading a lot, and my favorite sort of characters development tends to be the villain. So I love like the good, how to make a villain sort of story.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'll say no.
Yeah.
I, I find it challenging for me to be, to speak more about it. I'll say, or like to be a different person, but
Right.
but in regards to the creative side of things, no, because it
Mm.
is. I think it ties back to what I was saying in the beginning. It was easier for me. It's always been easier for me to communicate better through writing or through drawing. So yeah,
Mm.
I just
Yeah.
dive into it.
No, that's cool. And Judy, just going back to the Penfold Prize, because I don't think I asked, but what was the work that won you that prize, and then what did that mean to you personally to win that?
Well, I'll start with the last bit. It was a huge surprise, and it was phenomenally encouraging. It gave me a real boost of confidence. And the book is called, it's autobiographical, it's true, Ways to Kill My Mother's Lover with Limited Pocket Money and Minimal Mess.
Okay.
And it's a true story set in London and Ireland, and it's about how my brother and I decided that we needed to save our family, and because it was going to fall apart, and the whole problem was my mother's lover, who was called Beryl. And obviously Beryl wasn't the problem, but we thought if we could kill Beryl, then our family could be saved.
Okay.
And,
I'm going to have to bleep out this whole section of the
are you going to
interview.
have to? You're going to have to. Really?
Well, our podcast is going to become Exhibit A in some courtroom somewhere.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
No, but continue.
Anyway, that's the story, and it's being published by Quindry Press this year. And I might have to leave Ireland because it's set round here.
Oh wow, that's funny. All right, that's really a really interesting premise. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, that sounds cool.
My book is about bonkers families, and I've written it because I needed to tell the story, and it's a jolly good story. But also, it's for anyone out there who has a bonkers family
and needs a way to get rid of the problem, I assume.
Well, I'll say no more.
Yeah, moving on swiftly.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that. I hadn't realised.
No, it's cool. I'm also interested in, like, because we've spoken about the creative side of things, and one of the things that Fergo, you mentioned, like making progress towards full time, and Judy, like for where you are. The creative side of making comics is one part of making comics, but not the whole of it. There's a whole business side of it, to use the scary B word. And how have you both found that part of it? Whether it's and obviously it's different for other people. Some people freelance. Some people it's the promotion is a challenge. Social media, marketing, going to events. Like, how have you found the non-comic making side of making comics?
I'll say that I hate it. I hate all of it. I hate technology. And but I work on the premise that I could create very good work. I could get out there. I could do everything right, and it still doesn't go anywhere. There's an element that's out of my control, and that element is luck. It's being in the right place at the right time. I can't control that. And that's really liberating. It means I've just got to get on with the work and get it out there as best I can, which is why being part of anthologies is so important, because I don't have to worry about the printing or the technology or even promoting it. Thank you, Claudia. Yes, and so that's why being part of an anthology is so great. But I create my work because I have to, because I want to.
And how about yourself, Fergo?
I'm still figuring out that part as well. So I've learned a lot around printing my own book. I haven't actually printed it yet, but the amount of times I needed to change the canvas size and resolution of my work was insane. Because talking to WIP Comics and you get to learn about these new things every time, and then I'm thinking, oh, hold on, color profiles. What do you mean the color you draw might not be the color printed? Okay, something to think about.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot make this bigger. It will mess up the pixel. Oh, okay. If I draw in black and white, it's different if I use color. So all of that has been quite an experience. And then there's the side, which I think is a lot of creators' challenge these days, that you pretty much have to be a content creator in order for your work to be seen. So yeah, that's the one I'm figuring out at the moment, and yeah, let's see how it goes. So right now, what I do is my approach is take my phone, film myself talking some nonsense, as if I was talking to a friend. That's how I'm handling it. So I don't need to think too much about it. Am I consistent? No. But little by little, we're getting there. And and my partner, so he works in advertising, and he keeps on telling me, you need to start thinking about the marketing. And I'm saying, yes, however, there's only so much energy I can devote. And that's the challenging part of it. There's so many things that you can learn, and yeah, but little time, so little by little figuring it out.
Mm.
But the process of printing my own book has been, yeah, it's been amazing. Like there's so many things. I put up together like a Gantt chart and everything with timelines. I'm like, okay, from this week to that week,
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on the
Is that in
research I've
Notion?
done. That one is not in Notion.
Okay.
I printed it and I have like
Oh, that
printed in
works.
front of my desk. So I see it every single day. But yeah, but like, because there were so many unknowns that I just found out along the way, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just figuring things out and learning, trying to learn as much as I can, depending on which part of the process I'm in.
Yeah, no, it's all because it's one of the things they don't teach you in school, maybe even in business school, ironically. But just that how much of the thing you want to do is not the thing that you want to do, and yeah, definitely feel you on the marketing. But it is, and it's changing because when we started, because we started doing just print, and even now mostly just do print stuff, and I just missed out on the whole digital comics. But at the time, it wasn't such of an issue. Now it's like an issue because it's the like dominant way, especially for our audience or big part of audience. Like understanding like the shift in trends because what you know might learn 5 years ago is no longer relevant, and then you kind of appreciate how much work and like you say, Fergo, like energy. You only have so much energy, but it's like
Yeah.
you have to do it to keep doing the thing you want to do. Like I was thinking even recently about like films, and I just took a moment to recognize that because it used to be like when a film was coming out and you'd have, I don't know, they do the standard like press things. And then I was thinking, like, I see a lot of actors when a film comes out and they're doing all these on these YouTube channels, they're doing these like, I don't know, hot ones and or whatever
Mm,
other random things. I'm like, oh yeah, because the whole marketing thing has changed now. They have to do that. Like they can't just do the standard interview because that's not going to reach anyone. They need to go on this show and that show. They need to create this content. I was like, oh yeah, we need to yeah, we need to change. If they're having to change and do all this, then yeah, we gotta change and do some different stuff. And it's like not always stuff that you want to do. I know for me, marketing is not necessarily one that I'm enthused about, but yeah, it's one of those things when you go into it for yourself that you realize, oh, actually, there's a whole bunch of other things that I have to do sometimes, whether you like it or not. So yeah, definitely appreciate you both like speaking on that.
and like what you were saying as well is keeping yourself up to date.
Yeah,
That's another whole thing.
yeah, just like constant learning, right?
I think I've lost that battle.
Yeah, just like cut that off, like
Yeah, that ship sailed.
yeah. It's like I know what I know, and I'm gonna go on that. I respect that. I respect that as well. Do you both do you do conventions? I think before we started recording, Fergo, you were talking about like exhibiting at Comic Con, or like is that something that you both do? Conventions, fairs, things like that.
For me, it's something I want to start getting into. So because I'm printing a few copies, for whatever's left after I send the copies to the backers, I
Mm.
want to start going to conventions and fairs and stuff like that to get a bit more of exposure, and an experience. That's what I'm going for right now. I'm not going to say, yeah, I need to hit these targets to consider successful. I'm learning. I'm exploring what's out there, what I like, what I don't like, and what I can do. Because one of the introvert curses is that you lack energy, right?
Mm.
I like to tell my partner that if I spoke everything I think and if I had energy, I would be unstoppable in this world.
Yeah.
Uh, but unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, that's the next thing I'll explore once I'm done with my own book.
I went to Thought Bubble for the first time. I went to my first Comic Con convention was Thought Bubble last year.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I mean, it's extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. I'm not ruling out ever tabling ever, but at the moment it's very expensive to do. So there's the cost,
Yeah, it is that.
that's a real And at the moment, it's just not possible for various reasons for me to do something like that. But I wouldn't rule it out.
No, it is because like it's like the table, but then also if it's out somewhere far, like getting there, staying there, eating there, living there, then it does, it
Yeah,
all adds up.
and the shirts don't look very comfortable. When I answered the question, I answered more in regards to the tabling.
Yeah,
But yeah, I've been at Comic Con a few times,
yeah.
and now I happen to live very close to it. So yeah,
Ah, okay.
so now it's very cool. And yeah, like cosplaying, seeing other people's cosplays, and just walking around the artist alley. Those are my two favorite things.
Mm. Yeah,
It's
no, the
cool
chairs aren't
place
always
and the
that.
artist alley. Yeah, no,
Well, yeah,
they
the
don't look
chairs aren't
comfortable
comfortable.
at
No,
all.
yeah, I usually stand anyway, but they're not always that. You can put some cushions in there. It's not, yeah, someone should raise that. And so, what would you say for both of you has been your biggest achievement so far in comics? Fergo, do you want to start, and then Judy?
So I feel I'm achieving what I want to get to, which is having people approach me and say I've inspired them. And yeah, every now and then I receive a message from a random stranger in one way or another. Their comic helped them out. Once I got a message from this extroverted boyfriend saying that, oh, this comic specifically helped me understand this thing that my girlfriend does every now and then, but she couldn't put it into words. And
Mm,
we saw your comic, and then she was telling me, "Oh yeah, that's it. See, this is what I mean when this happens." So yeah, like that feels good. So whenever I
cool,
get one of those, it warms up my heart, and yeah, and I feel I'm doing the right thing.
nice. And for you, Judy?
Recently, I shared an 8-page comic I did last year called "Keeping Secrets," and I'll be very careful what I say because it is about sexual abuse, with two women who are my age, so 60, whatever, 5, whatever, and I thought I was dreading showing it to them. I just thought it would be so out of their experience. They read it and then they started talking about things that had happened to them as children, and I really loved the fact that it opened up a conversation. And they told me things that meant a lot to me.
Hmm.
That it struck a chord with them, and it meant that they could talk about something that had happened. There were two sisters in their childhood.
Yeah, I mean, you've like both spoken about the power for comics to like give that perspective and like change minds or give a voice. I guess that's what we were saying earlier about creativity giving a voice in that sense. That's really cool. So we always ask this question to at this stage where we talk about this idea of we're all protagonists in our own story, and I always feel like any good protagonist has like a goal or at least like some kind of idea of what success looks like. So for you both, what does success look like to you, and do you feel that you're there yet?
Well, for me, success is finishing my next project, which will be the longest one I've done, and finishing it before I am too geriatric to to enjoy it. So I haven't got much time. I've got to get going on it.
For me, yeah, it's pretty much being able to get that feeling of inspiring and motivating others and making others feel seen, because it's something I can relate to. Some people might think they know you because you're quiet, or they have you figured out because you fit in a certain profile, but that's not the case. So it's nice when you feel seen by someone else, and I hope that's what my art can do towards people, like give them a voice, like help them understand themselves better and helping others understand
Mm,
them. So in a way I feel like I'm very close to that success, but to frame it as when the goal is achieved, I guess is when I get to have way more of that and not just a few instances. And I think that falls into not being a full time thing, but definitely something that's down the road. And after I'm done with comics or jumping into a different comic idea, whatever it is, always keeping that in mind to give
mm.
people a voice and to help people understand themselves and understand others, and yeah, and that's what I enjoy about art.
Cool. No, I like that. All right, and with that, we're going to get into our guest advice segment. In each interview, we like to ask our guests for advice for any aspiring creative professionals and practitioners. So we've been talking comics. So yeah, Fergo, Judy, what advice do you both have for others who may be listening and want to get started with creating their own comic stories and putting them out into the world?
So I'd say that if you don't start 100%, you're going to fail. So just
Mm,
do something, whatever
yeah,
it is, just start and you grow from there. Everyone starts from the cringe and the messy, even though not everyone shows it. Everyone starts from there.
yeah, yeah,
I love
yeah.
the cringe and the messy. I completely agree with that. Yes, I think that's a good way.
Mm,
Yeah. So uh, Tom Hart gave me. He described the process, and I think this is what I would. This is how it feels like that when you making a project. He said step one is this is awesome. Step two, this is rubbish. No, step two, this is tricky. Step three, this is rubbish. Step four, I'm rubbish. Step
yeah.
five, this might work. Step six, this is awesome. And it's like a washing machine. You keep going. And I would say
Yeah.
keep going and allow those, because I live in I'm rubbish, but
Mm.
it doesn't stop me doing it. Keep going, and it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. Yeah. It feels it's weirdly familiar as well when you do it again. It's like
Yes.
you make it and
Like,
it's like
I've been here before.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, listeners, let us know what you think. You can email us studio77 at myamatter.com. And now we're gonna end with our bonus round.
This is a part where I'll throw in some additional questions, just like random or follow ups from something else that didn't quite fit in the rest of the interview. So this one is aimed at Fergo. Do you have any tips for balancing and how do you avoid burnout?
I don't know if you have any tips. I'd love to hear. So I that's a tough one for me. I'm still working on that one because there's so little time to do everything I want to do. But I suppose the advice that I try to give myself is okay. I try to think of myself as how I would advise my best friend. So just take it easy, have your sleep, have your food, and and have your solo time just existing. Because when you get bored, you also get creative. So I guess it would be that one. Take it easy.
Fair enough. Um, and Judy, you said that your previous job had a lot of deadlines. So how do you use that kind of skill and like manage your deadlines now that you're creating comics for yourself?
I make sure that I'm very organised, and so the job involves systems and deadlines, and I have transferred those skills. I can't bear working to the line. I need to have enough time to make changes. So this summer was quite busy because I've got work in several other anthologies, and I timetabled each one very carefully. It's I can't do it with the stress of working to having to get it done by tonight at midnight. I can't do that. All about
What can you...
organisation and systems.
I like it.
Awesome. Yeah, love that. And then lastly, this is for both of you. Where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram under jpowell470.
Me, I have actually two art accounts. If you're interested in the comic side of things, you can find me at Fergo Comics on Instagram. And if you're interested in, my broader artist journey, you can find me at Fergo Space on Instagram, and on YouTube mainly.
Thank you so much. We will add some links to the show notes to help our listeners find those a bit more easily.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And for listeners as well, if you enjoyed this episode of Story X Story, then definitely make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a future episode. And you can also go back and listen to the 224 previous ones. Also, give us a 5-star rating and review, because that helps us reach new listeners and fans of story discussions. We're story creators as well. You can discover our manga universe online. We've got an online store where you can get the Origins Against All Odds manga, which is our latest one, and also find us at an event. I was going to say an event near you, might not be near you, but you might travel. I don't know. But yeah, we're at events as well. And you can also find us online if you don't want to travel. So Studio 77, we've got Discord, we're on Twitch, on YouTube, doing different online events and activities. So yeah, connect with us there. You can also find us as part of the Do I Look Like a Gamer representation campaign, which is our yearly initiative for inclusion and diversity in the video games industry and wider culture as well. So we are staring down the barrel of another of another year, but we still got stuff to come. We're at Comic-Con. We've got some events to come as well, but you can head to the campaign website to check out this year's campaign. 40 players and makers in and around games, all profiled online. As for the podcast, we release new episodes on Thursdays, and those include creator interviews, video game discussions, and deep dives into stories across pop culture. And you can also give us a shout directly. Our email address is studio77@myamatter.com, and our website with links to subscribe is myamatter.com/storyxstory. So thank you for tuning in. And until next time, stay safe. And remember, if you are ever wondering what to do after you've committed a crime, I recommend, number 1, don't confess. Number 2, get a lawyer. And number 3, think about making a comic about it. Just saying. Take care, everyone.